Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Village Energy Spa, episode 4. We have today a very special person. Her name is Catherine McWilliams. She's a healer in the Woodlands area, very close to Houston, and has been on her journey for the past 5 years. So she's the CEO of the Wellness Cell. She focuses on the well-being of the person, focusing on the energetic frequency of the person. She does some muscle testing, and then she's going to go through all the modalities that she uses with her patients. I just wanted to give her today a mic so she can teach people what to do when you don't feel great. And if you need to see and come see her for an assessment and a potential protocol. So welcome back. Actually, not back. This is the second try. So welcome to our podcast, Catherine. It's a pleasure to have you. Can you give us a little bit of background on how you started and how all this unfolded?
Hi, absolutely. Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very honored to be here, and I'm so excited and for all the trailblazing that you're doing with your new center and helping people heal, because we definitely need it. So a little bit about me, my background. I've actually spent 25 years of my career in the biotech pharmaceutical industry. I was a rep and I promoted best-in-class therapies. And I got into the business because I really wanted to, I really want to help people, and I wanted to help humanity. They had the opportunity and the honor of promoting best-in-class therapies. I was lucky that I had the therapies that I did promote worked better for patients and also had less toxicity. So less symptoms and side effects and everything. So it was really nice to be able to advocate for patients with the doctors and try to help educate them on why this therapy would be the best. But it wasn't until 2019 that things really changed for me. Very sick. It was COVID before it had a name, and I had this debilitating illness, the worst sickness of my life, the worst flu, anything I've ever experienced. And it took 6 weeks to go away, which was, enough in itself. I had weird burning sensations all over my body. I couldn't breathe well. And after the 6 weeks, I was left just completely exhausted. I had to take a nap every day because I couldn't make it through the day. And I also had this stabbing pain in the back of my lungs every time I took a breath. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what to do about it. And there really wasn't, at that time, we're talking like January, February. First of all, when COVID did have a name, you couldn't get tested. And then you certainly, once it did have a name, seeing a pulmonologist was just out of the question. So I just lived with it. I lived with it until my joints started swelling, and they were very painful in my wrists and my elbows. And I saw a chiropractor. I thought, okay, let's start here. And he tried to help me for a few weeks, and he's like, yeah, I think this is a little bit more than that. So he referred me to a rheumatologist. And they did the blood work, and they saw that I have the inflammation marker. It's an ANA. That's kind of what they use typically. And so I went through the whole workup with that rheumatologist, and she told me I had rheumatoid arthritis. That was really kind of just so weird, because I have never been on medications.
Wow.
And the crazy thing, so to go from just being like having a little illness, now all of a sudden you have this chronic inflammation condition. And the crazy thing is that she wanted me to take chemotherapy they said that was the option. And it just didn't sit well. My intuition was screaming at me. So I went and I got a second opinion. I saw a second rheumatologist and pretty much got the same answer. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to do this. But I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm going to give it one more try. So I saw a third rheumatologist. And she basically thought, well, I don't know that you have rheumatoid arthritis, but you have some kind of an arthritis. So just when the pain gets bad enough, come see me and we'll start chemo. And I don't know. I was like, okay, I guess that's what I'm going to do. Until I was offered to try a sound therapy technology. It's this technology called AMP coil. It was originally developed for patients with Lyme disease. And I thought, what the heck? Chemotherapy or this weird new thing? So it's like I tried the weird new thing. So I went to and did the therapy 3 times a week and didn't really feel anything. Okay. But by the 3rd week, my swelling had gone away. And it was like, holy wow, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So I bought the technology. It's called AMP coil. It was a very large investment, but I just knew that this could actually possibly be my out. This is like, because I just, in my job, I would go into infusion clinics and hospitals and see the people that were receiving these treatments, receiving chemotherapy. That was my specialty, both solid tumors and blood cancers. Nobody looks well. everybody just has, the vibrancy is just not there. You see, they just look pale and sad and tired. And that was not what I wanted. I think maybe that's part of what my intuition was like, no.
Yeah.
And so from there, I just started learning. I'm like, okay, there's this whole other world that we don't know about, and Western medicine is actually disincentivized to learn about it. And so that's what I've done all my life, is learn about different disease states, different drugs. And so I kind of have that inclination to be able to want to learn and to do that. And it's not intimidating to me. So I've gone deep, and I've tried so many different therapies, and a lot of them worked. A lot of them worked, pretty well, and some worked sort of well. But the coolest thing is actually I've received a couple of different certifications along the way. And the one that I absolutely love is called Contact Reflex Analysis. So it was developed by one of the original chiropractors, Dr. Dick Furstendahl, and he trained with the Palmers. The Palmers actually developed chiropractic medicine. It's Palmer Chiropractic School of College of Chiropractic. And, chiropractic medicine is aligned with getting to the root cause. And I think that's kind of where my mind started to shift, because I realized when I was working in the industry, in the pharmacy, in the pharmaceuticals and the biotech, yes, it was helping people. It was helping them reach milestones in their life, but it wasn't actually getting to the root of the problem. And now that I've learned so much, that there are so many things we do just to slap a pill on a symptom, but we don't actually get to the reason why you're having the problem. And the reason you're having any symptom, your body's trying to talk to you. It's trying to communicate to you and say, hey, something's wrong. If you're driving down the road and you see the check engine light on your car, are you just going to put a piece of tape over and ignore it? Probably not. So that's what your body's trying. Yeah, go ahead.
So how do you make the body talk? And we had this conversation before, and I was so confused. The muscle testing. So can you explain what is muscle testing, and how do you assess the wellness of the human body, of the person that comes to see you?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you asked that, because it is a little bit, it's been used for thousands of years, but it's not in the mainstream as much. So so when someone comes to me, they typically have 2 to 3 complaints or things that they could do that would make their life happy. So we identify what those are, and then I actually score those complaints. And how I score the complaints is through muscle testing. So I want you just to wipe your mind for a minute and think about a lie detector. Okay, so you have your hand on the plate, you've got all the wires going up your arm, and then they start asking you questions. And I'll say, my name is Catherine McWilliams. I live in Texas. I have 17 children, and it starts doing this. Why does it start doing that? Why would the machine change?
Do we become weak when we're not aligned? Or is there a misalignment that you can detect?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So it's our subconscious. We think we make all of these decisions, but our subconscious is actually making 95% of the decisions that we make each day. And our subconscious knows what is our truth and what is not our truth. So unless you're a psychopath, you can't trick the lie detector, right? And so when I say, by the way, I don't have 17 children, but when I say I have 17 children, it's like, my body has a physical reaction. So your palms will get sweaty and your heart starts racing, because it's not your truth, and it stresses your nervous system out. And that's what a lie detector does. It's a physical monitor to detect physiological or physical changes in the body. And so by the same token, crazy enough, your muscles also control your nervous system. So I can even do it just like this. You can make this little symbol. And so these fingers are holding my little circle together, right? And I can say, my name's Catherine, and it holds at a different rate than if I say my name's Katerina. This is very nuanced. You need to practice it. You need to understand what your yes and what your no isn't. But when I say my name is Katerina, my body's like, no, you're not Katerina. It knows. And so even, like they say, like, think about when you drive to the grocery store or, driving across town, and you get there and you're like, how'd that happen? Well, it's because your subconscious was just taking over. And we think we make all these decisions every day, but honestly, they say we only make actually 5% of the decisions. And all the rest is this program on how our bodies operate. And we learn a lot of times the operating system up until we're like, the program is kind of written when we're young, like 6, 7 years old. And that's kind of like how that's kind of like our lens that we see the world through. And so we develop this subconscious, and so much of it is so let's go back to muscle testing. So you can actually put anything in somebody's energetic field. I can have a supplement next to me, but if I had a supplement, pretend this is one, I can put it next to the person, and then I can muscle test them. Is this for your best and highest good at this time? And I'll either get a yes, it'll be strong, or it'll go weak, because the frequency, everything's a frequency. So the frequency of the supplement stresses that is not in alignment with the person.
So let's say, hypothetically, because I'm really curious. So I'm super depressed, chronic fatigue, and I come to see you and I say, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
So which kind of test would you do?
So we start from just like we talked about. So we say, okay, I want you to think about, I'm not going to ask you to think about when you're being depressed. I want you to think about yourself being happy, vibrant, joyful. And then I will actually use muscle testing, and we'll score it. So there's a particular scale that I use to score complaints. It'll be too much energy associated with depression or too little energy. You can have both. It's just not in balance because the body wants to be in balance. When I get that score, obviously it's going to be out of balance because you wouldn't be coming to me with that issue unless you had a problem. And then I have this huge array of a toolbox. And so then I ask your body, what can I do to put you back in balance? Is there something is an emotional, some kind of a tool that would help clear up an emotional issue? Is there a nutritional deficiency? Because so much of our life, we're either too toxic or also nutrient deficient. So is there a supplement? Is there something that you need? Or even physically, is there a physical tool that I can use? And that can be, and so many things are free. That can be anything from breath work to a detox bath with, you can have 5 ingredients, and I muscle test your body. What 5 ingredients do you need, and how much of each item? Like if it's borax, or if it's apple cider vinegar or Epsom salt, how many pounds, how many cups do you need? And then from there, we basically set a customized schedule. We go through okay, you needed a detox bath for your depression. You needed some Epsom salt, you needed some alfalfa in your bath, you might even need an organic lemon, and you need to do this bath 3 times a week for 3 months. Okay, cool. Is your depression in balance? Nope, it's not in balance. Okay, so then we say, okay, what else, body, do you need? And the cool thing is, your body wants to heal itself. God designed our bodies to heal themselves, and they're absolutely miraculous. It's just that we have so much coming at us that our bodies are out of alignment. They're overwhelmed with toxicity. If you're talking about EMF, there are poisons in our water and our food and our air. So there are ways to mitigate that, or ways to help to remedy that, so we have less exposure. So then, okay, detox bath. Okay, great. Now what else? Oh, your body wants something emotionally. Okay, let's say I go through the menu and it's emotions, nutrition, tell the story. Sometimes your body has a story that's trapped inside that it needs to tell. Mind, body, spirit release. Okay, maybe your body wants a mind, body, spirit release session. And that is a session that it's 2 different levels, but the higher level is we set an intention for your vibrant health, for your depression to just be lifted, for you to feel joy and just be, present in every moment. And then through muscle testing, I have all of these menus and things. So there could be a relationship that affected you when you were 9 years old, and it involved 3 people, and it happened at church. And so there's a process that I use. You energetically release that. And the cool thing is, a lot of times people have trauma. You have trauma with the big T, and sometimes people have trauma with the little t. But regardless, whatever type of trauma is just your body not having a situation in front of it and not being able to fully process. And if it can't process it, it stores it. And it brings your vibration, your energetic vibration down. So what I'm trying to do is release those blocks. That's what I do, is release the blocks so that you can be at your highest vibration. Everybody's on a vibration scale from 0 to 1,000. And the people that are close to 1,000 are living their best lives with the fruits of the spirit: peace, love, joy, patience, kindness. And the people that are at 100, 200, 300, they're cutting you off at traffic. they're really sad, they're angry. We all know those people, right? And then you meet them at a party and you walk away from them, and you're like, oh, that energy is just.
Or we can, what I would say is like, we can all be those people. We all have bad days. We all have those days that are like, oh my
Yes.
God, this is not good. Yeah.
Mhm. But then we do things to raise your vibration, and that's what it's about. Prayer, meditation,
Exactly.
grounding, watching the sunlight, laughing, being in your zone, doing things that you love, because we all get in a funk. And sometimes you need help getting out of that funk, and then sometimes you can just do small little things and eat a nutritious meal because you're nutrient deficient.
All about, actually, I was reading recently that I thought the highest vibration was great, being grateful, but actually, high vibration is being authentic.
I love that. That's cool because
Wow, this is
we have such.
interesting.
I think we just live through other people's expectations. And I've even heard recently that anytime we feel depressed or feel like have this angst about us, first of all, it's not anything that God wants us to feel. So you need to ask God to take that away. But second of all, we are trying to live up to somebody else's expectations and not being our true authentic self. So there you go. I agree with that. That's cool.
So now there is this QAHT hypnosis when they go to the subconscious mind and try to understand the trauma. So you do this without the person being hypnotized.
Yeah.
You do this almost intuitively.
Yeah, it is. Anybody can learn how to muscle test, and it is our intuition. It's a way to quantify your intuition. But I think I'm starting to realize that maybe I'm just I have this extra focus, and I'm able to discern things that it's like a maybe more, I don't know if I won't call it a master level, but I feel like my ability to tune into somebody's energetic field and identify what their blocks and barriers are is I've been practicing. And so I feel like I'm pretty darn good at it now. And the cool thing is that you don't have to relive the trauma. So when you go to psychotherapy, what do? You tell that story over and over again, and it increases the neuronal connection in your brain. It just makes the story stronger and not less. So the cool thing is you can release trauma and not have to relive it. And I use actually like a little laser to do it. And so just as an example, I had a friend, she had this horrible eye infection. Her insurance wasn't great. She didn't want to go to the ER. And so we did mind, body, spirit release. And she had to, for her health and getting well again. And it came up with multiple blocks, but one of them was a spiritual crisis. And I was like, this is weird. Okay, spiritual crisis when you're 5 or 6 years old. It involved 2 people, and one of them was a man, and the other one was you. And she knew exactly what it was. And she had only told 2 people on this earth. And the amazing thing is that we used the laser to use it on certain parts of the body, and we cleared it, and she slept amazing that night. Her eye got better in 2 days. Like, didn't have to do all of the things. You know how like an infection like that would just take forever. So our body is physically manifesting symptoms and issues because most everything, 80% of what we experience is emotion. It's emotion, and it's showing us physically to try to get our attention, like, hey, you have this emotional issue and you're not paying attention to it, so I'm going to physically manifest something. And when you get a pit in your stomach, and that's butterflies, that's anxiety, and our kidneys hold fear, and our liver holds anger and rage. And crazy enough, I had anger and rage, and that's how I got introduced to all this. And I'm like, me? I don't have this, but I did. Like things that we just kind of like, yeah, I was like, always thought I was so good natured, but apparently had some things in my body I needed to release, and I feel so much better.
So now, quick question for you, right? So I opened my center to alternative healing, and I have a hard time explaining to people the light system or alternative healing or the grounding or the sun gazing or alkaline diet or all those modalities. So how do you get people to understand that the modern medicine is to cancel symptoms with all the side effects, when alternative healing is just listening to our body, help the body self-heal? How do you bridge this gap? Because I feel that nowadays people, I'm not going to say brainwashed, but people believe that the doctor with the white blouse hold the truth.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to explain to people that they need to listen to their body and work on their traumas, emotional, physical, whatever the trauma was, to then release through all those modalities. How do you
get to the true healing? Yeah, that's a really good question. And six years ago, I probably would have argued with you. Or like, no, the doctors really know what's going on. I don't know what you're thinking. You're crazy. You're weird. And it all was weird to me. It really, really was. Until you had that moment. For me, it was like, I'm on no medications. You want to put me on chemo, and these people don't look healthy. I just don't want that. So I was like, I'll do anything but that. And so I was willing to kind of go down that rabbit hole. Yes, I feel like there is that we have been trained and ingrained to trust authority figures, and the doctors are definitely authority figures. And they don't have the training. Unfortunately, they are doing the best they can with the resources they have, but they don't have nutrition on training. I've listened to tons of different interviews and podcasts where the doctors are like, oh my gosh, we, just turned and burned and had to learn all this stuff our first couple of years in medical school. And they're like, yeah, now that you've learned all of it, you can forget it. Because now we're going to learn about how you take a group of symptoms, put them together, and call them this diagnosis. Now we're going to go to the shelf and figure out which pill or which treatment you need to put on top of that. But it's not getting to the root of the cause. For example, I have listened to so many different lectures and seen how 50% of the cancers are parasites. And I'm not just saying this, I can point people to different lectures and things that they have figured this out. And I have released tons of weird things. And the crazy thing is you're only supposed to be able to see 30% of them. Most of them go through your poo. I figured nobody wants to see my poo. So I actually I was on this protocol called CellCore, which was amazing. And so kind of as an experiment, crazy enough, you release things to your kidneys. So I have these really cool, amazing pictures. It looks like a fish tank. It may be urine, yes. But it looks like a fish tank and all these different creatures, all different sizes and shapes. And they look like they have eyes and fins and sucker mouths. It's crazy. And I feel so much better. So it's like there may be a rub against like, I don't know if I want to try this. But maybe the question is what you're currently doing, is it working for you? And if it's not, if you're on, if you're depressed and you're taking pills for your depression, and then you might have to take an anxiety medication. Maybe you're also on blood pressure if you're a little bit older. And the more pills you have, the more symptoms you get. And these drugs have never been studied together. They don't know what interactions it causes in your body. And so if what you're doing, if you have that intuition that it's just not working for you, why not try something else? That's what I did. And it paid off so well. And my sleep is better. My energy's better. My family used to make fun of me because I had a terrible memory. And my memory's so much better. Like, really? And I don't have to take a nap every day. Because for a while there, it was bad. And I had to. I could not make it through the day without nap and caffeine. And I have more energy than I have ever had in my whole life. And I'll tell you, I'm 56 years old. And I'm not on any medications. Oh, and the crazy thing is yes, I had COVID, but that was really just kind of, I think, the straw that broke the back. I keep all my blood work. My white blood count had been in the toilet for 20 years. Nobody called my attention to it. So anytime I got sick, I could never fight an infection. Even so much so that in 2020, I had to go to the hospital for just a regular UTI. I had kidney stones for the first time. And my white blood count was normal. I was peeing blood, and my immune system didn't even recognize something bad was going down. So I got the IV and did all that, and it felt better that night. Western medicine's amazing. If you need them in a pinch, if you get in a car accident, amazing. But for chronic conditions, I don't agree.
Yeah, it's one of the people, if you get run by a car, please go.
Yes, please. Break a leg, please go. But if you have something chronic, the system's just not set up to really get to the root cause. And I want to mention another crazy thing. So I did have kidney stones in 2020, and I actually was able to use two things. I used Chanca piedra, which is an herb. It's called the stone breaker. And I used the amp coil therapy that I have, and it's frequency. It's a frequency machine, and it actually took away my kidney stones. I never had to pass them, and I had 3 of them that would have been horrifically painful, so I hear. So that was really exciting. They just disappeared on their own with the natural modalities.
We need to broadcast more of those examples to everybody, because I don't think that people understand that there is an alternative to pills. There is an alternative to surgery, right? The body wants to heal.
Yes.
You just need to give the body the optimal condition to heal or the tools to heal. You know, you were saying earlier, just grounding. If you don't have much money, just go outside, remove your shoes, ground yourself.
Reset
Stop.
your nervous system. You
Exactly.
absorb negative ions through the bottom of your feet that displaces free radicals in your body. It puts you in that calm, restful relaxation state, which we need to be. We don't need to be in our stressed out. We're stressed out all the time. We should only be stressed out very small. Like back in the day, we were running from the tiger. There weren't that many tigers around. Now it's your email. Every time you open your email, you're like, "Ah, that's not good." So
You're
just a
right.
couple other quick examples too. Like crazy cool. I had a gentleman I was working with, and we were able to lower his blood pressure, and he's gotten off of his medication. Now, I'm not a doctor, I don't do that, but he was able to, his blood pressure was dropping so low with the medication that he actually took himself off of it. But he also had just some warts on his body, 3 different warts. And I energetically tested what oil he needed for each wart. And I was like, okay, that one should go away in 2 weeks, that one's 3 weeks, and that one's 4 weeks. They've gone away. It's amazing, like without having to get them cut off, burned off, or anything else. So that was cool. And then,
So the doctors would say, "Oh my God, this is a miracle."
isn't that crazy?
I think that there is miracles happening inside our body daily. Daily miracles that we don't know about.
It's amazing.
Because
We're walking and surviving in this environment. Yeah.
we don't need intervention. We just need the right nutrients, the right environment,
We need to
put
get rid of the
the right
toxicity and then
vibration. Exactly. Yeah.
build up our nutrition.
Wow, this is amazing, Catherine. I mean, it's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, that's just a tiny little example, but I've had a couple people cancel, okay, I had a couple cancel a knee surgery. Our knees are energetically linked to your adrenals. So people will go get a knee replacement and not realize that their adrenals are out of balance. But it shows up in their knee. So they get a knee replacement, and then, a few years later, they need another knee replacement because they never dealt with their adrenals. Another really interesting thing is a lot of people wear electronics on their wrist. Your wrist is energetically tied to the chambers of your heart. So think about it. On a cellular level, we're little batteries. And on a cell, there's electricity going in there, and the vibration is electricity. So you've got protons and electrons things to transport through the cell. But think about multiplying that times, I don't know, 1 trillion. So you are a battery. You are energy. You are a battery. Wearing a watch or wearing earbuds is short-circuiting all the electrical functions that are needed for your body to function every day. So that's even just a really easy tip.
You're right. And for me, I cannot even wear a watch, the Apple Watch, because it burns me.
Yeah, so
It's huge burn.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
And I was doing a presentation for somebody, and I had my phone in my pocket, which I don't normally do, but I did. And the crazy thing is, we tried to put the receiver to the mic in there, and it went because it was like the phone is an energy-directed weapon. Is everything I've heard is that it's sending frequencies that are designed to kind of tear us down. And so everybody in the room took their phone and put it way far away, because it's another thing in our lives that's stressing us out. So definitely, if anybody's there, do not sleep next to your phone. Have at least 6 feet away from your head. And I plug mine in across the room because it's a pain when somebody texts or calls and I have to get up and to go answer it. But it's the better thing to do.
Yeah. So it's all about educating ourselves and trust our intuition, our body.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what muscle testing is. It's basically quantifying your intuition. So it's just a way to kind of do that.
So, Catherine, as we're wrapping up, it was great to hear all those miracle stories. What would be a message that you want to leave people with related to health?
I want people to be empowered. I want them to know that you don't need to rely, you have the answer inside of you. We've been giving our power away to other people, to authorities, to our doctors, and saying, okay, what do I need? You actually have the answer inside of you. So I would encourage people to get some education if they're interested. I mean, I would be more than happy to do a session with somebody to help them understand what it is that, how I can maybe be a part of that healing, but your body was designed to heal itself.
So where can people find you?
They can find me. I office out of Living Holistic, which is a co-op for holistically minded people. So I have an office there, but I also, because we are all energy and we are all energetically connected, I work with people all over the world. So we take so much for granted. We can dial a number and reach somebody across the city. And now we're here on technology and I can see you in real time. We take all this for granted. By the same token, energy and me being able to help somebody doesn't have the geography boundaries as well. So yeah, so I can also work virtually as well.
So it's wellcell.com, I guess, your website?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine. It was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Thanks so much for the
Thank you.
opportunity. Great to see you.
Take care.
Good luck.